Hi everyone, welcome to this reading. So I have my crystal ball off to the side, so I will be scrying throughout this message. If you're new to my channel, my readings are a little different. If you're returning, welcome back. You know how we do. If it doesn't resonate with you, if you're forcing the story to fit, arguing with it in any way, just leave it behind for the people who it's meant for. I have some scrolls out from I Scry with Steph. I will have her channel linked down in the description box. If you haven't checked out her readings, definitely do so. They're a lot of fun. And the puppies are in here with me, so you're going to hear all kinds of yipping, growling, snarling, barking. I hope they chill. They're like laying down right now, so hopefully they stay that way. Okay, so this is a rather big energy. It's fairly intense. That's why I had to pull these cards beforehand. I needed to know what I was dealing with exactly here, just because there's so many layers to this. This reading doesn't just cover the 3D that someone's experiencing. It's covering the spiritual experience and a karmic experience as well. So whoever I'm reading for, you are a higher level medium. Now, that doesn't mean that if you just got onto the mediumship journey that you shouldn't watch this. There's some things that are going to come out in this reading that may help you later on. But I am very specifically speaking to somebody that came in this way. You were born this way, right? And when we were young, it does look like we spoke about this often. It was a perception that we had, and we thought that everybody shared this perception. And so we spoke about this. This really scared some people around us, and maybe due to culture, maybe due to religion, maybe due to just plain old fear, we were silenced in some way. This silence is something that we've carried with us, and it's actually had some very adverse effects inside of our life, which we will get into. And for those of you who that resonates with, because of the color blue here, which is throwing me into the flames, if you're somebody that resonates with the flames, it is giving me heavy blue flame energy just between that, the devil, and the magician. And so I would look into the witch wound. If you're unfamiliar with that, definitely look that up. I'm not going to go into that for this reading. I want to stick to this reading. So it does come up multiple times, however, and I'll mention when it does. One of the things is that wound is trying to heal in this life. It seems to be the mission in this life, to term it that way. It feels like one of the missions that we have, the overarching mission that we have, is to establish our own happiness. Someone here has really dealt with depressive states in this life, and it is a direct result to this energy. And the reason why is because in order to perceive other realities, we have to have a different chemical component, chemical signature inside of our brain than the average Joe and Nancy, right? We have to have something else up there going on, and it's not conducive to being in a happy state. So a lot of mediums, they tend to view things in a very negative way. They tend to have experiences that scare them. They tend to try to hide those experiences because the spiritual community tells you if you experience those things, then you're a sinner or there's something wrong with you. I've heard it all. And this just simply isn't the case. There is some element of healing that I am seeing inside of this reading. Someone here is experiencing a healing on that level of understanding that this practice, this ability, this is part of me, and I'm allowed to love this. I don't have to be afraid of it. Some of you have already gone through that. Some of you weren't afraid of it, but there is definitely this mouth shape here, which is talking about speaking about it more or receiving more communication. One of the reasons why we seem to be receiving more communication is because there is an aperture opening up in spring. This is a very spring scroll. I'll get into this later. The other reason why there seems to be a little bit of depression taking place here is because we have been silenced, right? In order to truly flourish and be abundant as a soul, the soul has to be itself, and we haven't been allowed to do that. If we want to know our soul signature, it comes from this card here. It's the Magician. And so this is where we have a constant connection to spirit, and we control our emotional states, our mental states, and the state of our willpower in order to create. This is really the essence of all souls. And because of that, all souls will go through a particular lesson, and eventually all of them will come here. They will all get to experience life as the medium as they connect back in to spirit. You've already been connected to spirit. You've already seen the things. You've already had this sort of ability, and other people haven't understood it. You felt very judged. You felt very misunderstood. And this is what we can expect, especially in this sector of the world where these things are kind of considered woo, or on the other extreme, evil, right? And someone here is really healing to have this aspect of themselves, which is almost like the higher aspect of our our being reintegrate and reincorporate. And this is something that we lost when we were dealing with this witch wound energy. If you're unfamiliar with the witch wound, again, I would definitely go look that up. This seems to be the karmic lesson that someone has inside of this life, is how to be complete and whole again. Now, if you're one of those people that think that karma means justice and punishment, it certainly doesn't. It's an Eastern concept that has been kind of like transposed into like a Christian lens over here in the West. It's not about people getting justice, people getting punishment. This is about dissonant energies within the collective of the Supreme Being cycling out and healing itself so that that being can awaken. This is an energy here where we've carried this in as part of our story, this trying to reintegrate this aspect of the magician, this very magical, very powerful, very conscious creator part of ourselves. And whoever you are in this collective, you know that this reading is for you. Without a doubt, if you've been stepping into a place where you've been trying to either manifest or come into a place where you're connecting back into something a little bit more magical. One of the things I'm seeing inside of this card, on the very top, it looks like wings. And that means that there is a higher level of protection that's coming over your life currently inside of this phase. I'm seeing that doubled almost in this interdimensional way by these slash marks that have the dots. There has been, I feel too, because we have one here, and then we have two here. I feel that there's two beings that have come in with someone, especially if they've resonated with the term starseed. Not that you have actually felt that you resonate with the modern material about starseeds, but that you feel that you come from elsewhere. This is also part of the blue flame journey. This is an energy of two protectors having followed us and been with us just on the outskirts. Some of you may experience this as what is being termed as the dweller on the threshold by Theosophy. And then others of you, the other one is more in the background, and you probably haven't experienced that one often, if at ever. And so these are two energies that are around you, along with this sort of higher protection that have been in some way helping you to navigate this energy inside of your life. This period of having a lot of emotions come up in order to be healed, this is in divine timing right here. This is this energy right here trying to heal itself to put us into alignment with this. This is the magician, and in the lower places, it's the empress, so that we now are flourishing and we are abundant inside of our subconscious, and this allows us to learn new things and to take on new abilities. So with this divine timing and evaluation, I do think that somebody spent a very long time trying to heal themselves. So whoever this message is for, you've been at the healing journey for a very long time. This might be something you've always tried to do, is try to heal some aspect of yourself, because there's this innate knowledge that something was ripped away in a previous time. Again, going back to that witch wound. I am being told right now that some of you might want to look into the doom imprint, especially if you tend to have that like existential doom feeling where you really can't explain why you feel that way. That might be something you want to look into. Here, what I'm seeing over here is that, like I said, there's an uptick in our communication, and this has to do with this aperture opening in March. Here in the West, we tend to talk about Samhain, and so we think about the fall equinox as a time when spirits can come to us a little bit easier. In other places in the world, they believe that about March. Really, it's the equinox energies when the night and the day are equal. And so what we're having here, it's the position of the sun to the earth also. And so what we're having here is we're having this energy show up as being very significant for that equinox. There's a significant event that's going to happen here. You're going to start experiencing more and more energies like this come towards you, and there seems to be some sort of meeting here, possibly of these two spirit beings that are protecting you from elsewhere. But for some of you, this is almost like meeting your reflection in the spiritual world. Someone here who has been plagued by lower energies, there seems to be one that's quite shape-shifty that you've been dealing with over and over, and you may think that it's many different ones that have come to you. It's actually one that's just a shapeshifter, and it can change its feeling and its vibration and its energy signature. There may be a significant meeting with that here in March, as a result of healing this energy, as a result of healing yourself or developing some sense of self-love. And you're going to start understanding that this being was reflecting your treatment of yourself back to you in some way. And so what we're having here is, it's almost like a partnership between those two things. In shamanism, we call this the spirit marriage. where a person has a spiritual being that is its reflection and it's like its partner, and this is where they start working together. But usually a person has to go through different initiations. In this case, it would be different healings in order to really be able to merge with that. Otherwise, it's too volatile to it, because it is reflecting an inner volatility, what? Within oneself, right? It treats you the way that you treat you, in other words. And when the leaves are first springing up, especially if you're like, for example, if you're in the northern states or the Midwest, this is really the time that we're looking at. It's like as life returns, there's a new version of life spiritually that is coming in. And this seems to be facilitating, this whole process is facilitating this, where we're healing this Three of Swords energy. This is all about alchemizing some deeply buried wound that we've carried with us as a medium. And again, it really feels to me like it's something that has come in from a past life and that we've carried with us that we were never able to actually fully release. As we clear this up, just like this is talking about, what we're going to see is that the things that come towards us drastically change. This is the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups is somebody that offers the spiritual energy or comes through spiritual spaces. When we're talking about psychic tarot, right? This is psychic energy and the way that spirits show up. Again, remember that spirits are synonymous with the plane of water. Within the astral, it's ruled by moon, it's ruled by water. And so there's something here that's showing up in a very different way. It's almost in a very kind way, where at one time it was very sinister, right? We have these two sitting in diagonal to each other. And the whole point of this is taking this Three of Swords energy and transmuting it into the Ten of Cups. So let's see. I'm going to pull a couple more cards on this. I do feel that whoever I'm reading for, you have had a tendency, again, since 3D is mirroring the spiritual world, you've had a tendency to attract people that were very damaged. And as a result of getting to know you, these people have awoken into some sense of spirituality, whether it's they just get interested in crystals or maybe they just get interested in ghost hunting. They start to acknowledge that there is something behind all of this or within all of this. Okay, we have the Judgment card. We have the Hierophant. Yeah, it looks like old wounds are getting dug up, just like I said here. Old things are starting to get dug up in order to be healed. Some of you may be experiencing this at this time in the terms of, like, for example, dreaming about passed on loved ones, but those dreams are actually very sad. Or you notice that old grievances are starting to play out in dreams with those individuals. That's part of the space healing for you. When we have those grievances that are still left inside of us, this can be one reason why those loved ones can't enter in and why they can't make contact with us. It serves as an energy block for them. Okay, and this is about, again, big significance on this aperture energy, and I'm hearing that the bottom card is why. The reason why I'm saying that is because, unfortunately, I have to cover her. We have the World card showing up, and the World card, I know a lot of people view that as completion, and yes, it can be a completion of a cycle, but the World is really, it's almost like, how do I want to explain this quickly? There's no way to explain it quickly. So I'm going to go back to a story that comes from Judaism, and it's that the Hebrew alphabet was folded over on itself, and that extra alphabet created a small aperture through which creation was allowed to come through, and it carried with it the essence of all those letters, all the mystical forces. And so this is kind of the idea that's presented inside of the World card. That's why you have this wreath. It's representing an aperture through which that feminine energy is creating a new universe. So it's really talking to me about this sort of equinox time frame. I know that we have some solar eclipses coming up, so it may be relevant to that, but there does seem to be something new that's entering into our mediumship abilities, and I think it has to do with this magician energy. Like I said, because we're healing these things, it's almost as though there's this greater spirit that belongs to us that's allowed to merge now into this current reality. And this is where we start operating from a place that is very similar to something that we left behind in the past as a result of this. So it's almost like reclaiming something that was supposed to be ours this entire time. We didn't have access to it. So this is very beautiful energy. It's extremely powerful. Some of you are about to step onto a very new path with not only being comfortable speaking about this and having that connection to spirit, but also having this magical overlay on top of it, where we understand how to take control of our emotions, our thoughts, our willpower, in order to create something quite beautiful for ourselves by the looks of this Empress. Okay, we have the two of, this is a High Priestess, and then we have the Ace of Cups. And so this is coming as a result of balancing these tumultuous emotions. Someone here, it feels like you're coming into a space where you're liberating yourself from some sort of emotional struggle that you've always had. And as you liberate yourself from this emotional struggle, we almost settle down into becoming comfortable in the more uncomfortable energies that come towards us. And we start to merge with that aspect. And by merging with that aspect, we alchemize it. Because we're alchemizing it, we're having this experience where this higher energy can now come down and teach us. I do want to briefly touch on something. This is almost reminding me of the idea of the HGA inside of ceremonial magic. It comes from, who is this? The Sacred Magic of Abramelin the Mage. And in that book, it is a book that he wrote for one of his sons to pass on to him before he died. And inside of this book, he's basically giving instruction on how to get in touch with what's called the Holy Guardian Angel. And this is done by controlling lower forces in the form of demons and evocations. And there's a whole purification process that goes before it. This can be done many ways. There's easier ways to do it. For some of you, I do see that you are actually not afraid of these lower spaces, and you have been working with these lower beings. And one in particular I'm seeing, and that is bringing me back into that shape-shifty energy. And because you're working with that lower being, it's almost this merging of this protective energy with that lower being, since they're on the same scroll. It's like a merging of the two to become this great teacher. And this is the process of spiritual alchemy in a nutshell. There's different ways to go about it, but the product is the same, where now as a medium, you're experiencing this being, or an integration of being of yourself, in which you are now your greatest teacher, or you have met your greatest teacher in some way. So especially with this Hierophant showing up, this is about spiritual lessons and spiritual mastery. So this is, like I said, this is very big energy. This is very big energy. I love when stuff like this comes out. I love that the High Priestess and the World card both showed up, because this is that taking control of that divine feminine force, not in like a controlling, domineering way, but in this very beautiful direction of will kind of way. The divine feminine in the darker spaces, it can be very chaotic, it can be very ruthless, it can be very tumultuous to handle. And so when we bring that into alignment, like we see inside of both of the High Priestess and the World, it becomes a driving creative force. So someone here, it's almost as though you have this huge journey beginning, this adventure really, when it's the Two of Wands here. I think I said Page of Wands earlier. It's the Two of Wands, who is the explorer about to embark on a journey. He's looking out across the sea and he's trying to see, what new land can I conquer. It's almost as though we were a medium and now we're becoming something more. And now we have this whole new adventure ahead of us that we're not in conflict with, because we're not in conflict with ourselves. And this is awesome. This is beautiful. So whoever this message is for, oh, I just heard one more card. Where do you want me to pull it from? Okay. Okay. Oh, two apparently. Okay, so this is very specifically for those of you who are experiencing a lot of, lower emotional states, and because of that you are experiencing the lower energies. This right now is the way that it may be appearing to you. I don't really want to read what's going on here. I almost feel like it's just the imagery here. So this is what it's reminding me of. I do feel that for some of you, this is exactly what you're going to encounter in March. It may be something that you already encounter, especially those of you who, you have sleep paralysis, or you astral travel and you see like what people call the dweller on the threshold, or if you, just anything, like if it's your reading, And I feel like what's happening here is that this is entering into a partnership of healing with this. And this is exactly what this reading is about, right? It's not just healing ourselves here in the 3D, it's healing something spiritually. This is where we reclaim the idea that it doesn't have to be filtered in the lens of the people who enacted this on us. Do you know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be filtered through that lens. there was a point in time inside of our soul's history where we understood that we did have this partnership. And this is where we start to bandage those wounds, and we start to heal each other. So whoever this message is for, this is huge. And I wish you the best of luck with this. If this is a reading that resonated for you, please hit that like button. And until next time.